Hello, board members, superintendent. My name is Tippy Breakwell, and I'm here to speak with you about dyslexia. The word isn't foreign to us. We've all heard it, but very few understand what it means. Even after functional brain imagery showed it in the 80s, our educators are still not taught the telltale signs, and they're still not taught the evidence methodology to include dyslexics in their classrooms. Dyslexia is synonymous with struggling readers. It makes up 80 to 90% of all learning issues. It affects 20% of the population, those with average to gifted intelligence. This equates to approximately 36,600 dyslexic students currently in your care in Palm Beach County School District. Steve Jobs, Steven Spielberg, Richard Branson, we're in good company. Unfortunately, our juvenile delinquent facilities and rooms of recovering are also chock full of them. I've emailed you all copies of the testimonies given to Congress this past October by our country's leading authorities on dyslexia, the Dr. Shaywitz. They are the co-directors of the Center for Dyslexia at Yale University. The credentials are endless. All of the most current science and statistics are included, but I've included a link to the website, which is brilliant if you're seeking any more information. They report, and I quote, "Overwhelming evidence indicates that we are in the midst of a national epidemic of reading academic failure. Accumulating scientific evidence demonstrates that dyslexia both may be at the root of the reading difficulties noted and provide a potential solution in this unfortunate epidemic. Awareness seems to be the largest obstacle. That is why I'm now an advocate for the Dyslexia Learning and Support Group of Florida. We've been meeting with Karen Wetzel, the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Kevin McCormick, the ESE Director, and Jennifer Peasy, the district's hire to be the dyslexia expert, as well as Dr. Vosa. We have also attended the pre-strategic planning meetings, and we'd like very much to have a place at the table to look at how dyslexia can be included in the plan. Some of the great things coming from these meetings that are helping to grow awareness are an information webinar that went out to all of the principals on the evidenced interventions for dyslexia, the ones that were adopted by the district, and the supports that are available to them to use them. Information was sent out to all the ESE contacts on the audiobook service that's free through a Department of Education grant, and on the legitimacy of ear reading. Also, recognition of the need for more interventionists and attention given to the intervention scheduling to get these interventions to the kids. Anyway, we have much work to do, and I look forward to reporting all the great advancements in meetings to come. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, my name is Rachel Bridgeberg, and I'm also here to speak about the 20% of the students in the district that have dyslexia. Right now, these bright children, even in A-rated schools, are not getting the right services, and they are failing the FSA, being retained, and dropping out of high school, since they haven't learned to read on grade level and feel stupid. Here are some of their stories. A 7th grader with a dyslexia diagnosis has failed the FSA every year. The mom just assumes there's nothing the school can do for her child. It isn't until our support group explains to her that her son is entitled to intervention proven to teach dyslexics to read, so she has to go to her IEP team and demand the correct services. Other mothers tell us no matter how hard they plead with their IEP team, they are being denied services. Even worse, I'm meeting parents who don't even know that their child's reading struggles are due to dyslexia. This needs to stop. Dyslexic children need to be identified in the primary grades, and the district needs to provide these children with the correct evidence-based reading instruction. Research shows that guided reading will not work for the dyslexics, since unlike other children, they need direct, explicit, systematic, multisensory decoding lessons. When a non-dyslexic comes across a non-memorized word, they see the patterns in the words and can quickly sound it out. Dyslexics, due to their brain structure, need to be intensely taught how to read the word patterns. So please, During the child's SAA and intensive reading class, give them the correct instructions, since guided reading will never teach them the skills to become a successful reader. The school system has invested in the Wilson Reading System, a program proven to help dyslexics learn to read. It has trained over 800 teachers in Wilson, but few are implementing. If you want to increase third grade reading proficiency and high school graduation rate, please mandate this in your new strategic action plan, that every school has a teacher trained in Wilson who will teach Wilson 5 days a week to 5 different groups of students for an hour a day. In order for the program to finish in 2 to 3 years, it needs to be given daily for an hour and over the summer. Giving the program for less than an hour only will prolong the time it will take the child to read on grade level. History shows that individual IEP teams are not making the correct decisions for our dyslexic kids. Please structure our dyslexic interventions like the New York City school system, which has created a manual that instructs every school in their district how to implement Wilson. I will email you a link to this manual. If your child had diabetes, you would give them insulin. No parent would take the wait-and-see approach. If your child had dyslexia, you would give them Wilson. This is approximately 36,000 children in our district that need the remedy, so please give them faith, their legal right to a bright future. And also, please include us in your strategic action plan. I promise you, if you treat and give the dyslexics the right interventions, your FSA scores will go up. And this is not only in the it's across the board that these students need the help. In the A-rated schools and the A to F schools, please help us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Robin Zimmerman, Andy Goldstein, Carla K. Sweeney.
Scrambling to find teachers in the and I saw
and fidelity must be implemented. Frustration and much expense. I hired an
saying I made the right decision. The district didn't.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Silberman.
And bus drivers' lives matter too.
All right, Mrs. Reynolds.
Good evening. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Angela Reynolds, and I have a son in 4th grade at Jupiter Farms Elementary. It's an A-rated school, and I love the principal and I love the teachers. Dr. Abosa, you spoke earlier about raising the standards with children with raising the standards for children with their reading levels to 80% in the next 5 years. 1 in 5 children have dyslexia. My child is severely dyslexic. In 1st and 2nd grade, services were not properly provided for evaluation and for methodology. With frustration and much expense, I hired an educational psychologist to do a full outside evaluation. In 2nd grade, Dr. Alexis Lanigan, who I'm sure all of you know, did the evaluation and attended multiple IEP meetings. Giving her professional advice, she stated that the Wilson program would be the most effective program to address my son's learning disabilities. Ms. Robinson mentioned earlier this evening that 3rd grade is critical to addressing a child's ability to read at grade level. In the middle of my son's 3rd grade, services were reduced. Not increased, reduced. At the end of the year, he failed the FSA testing and barely was moved into 4th grade, basically because I pleaded with them. At the end of the 3rd grade, his test scores on the FSA for reading was a meager 18%. He is a gifted, bright child who scored an 83% on his math FSA. With such frustration and desperation, I felt defeated and I could no longer properly advocate to have my son's special needs addressed. I had to hire an attorney to advocate on his behalf. He is now getting with fidelity, and fidelity is an operative word in the world of dyslexia that means to give a prescription. If you have an illness and the doctor says you must do something for 5 days, take 3 times a day, that's fidelity. And fidelity must be implemented with his educational programs for our children with dyslexia. He is now getting with fidelity the Wilson Intensive Reading Program. Sadly, other parents in my dyslexic support group do not have the money to hire an attorney to advocate for them, and others in the processing of hiring one. This isn't how it should be. We need appropriate services mandated since all dyslexic students are entitled to an evidence reading program proven to work with dyslexics. My attorney told me that I was one of the only parents that they knew that actually had the word dyslexia written in their IEP, which is appalling. It is clear with my experience how we now desire to advocate for all children in our community. The Wilson is your answer to the school board's goal of having 80% of third grade reading at grade level. Wilson provides an explicit, systematic instruction for reading and writing. I hope that you have 800 teachers already trained with Wilson. It's an easy answer to implementing a program right now for our children. And this summer, if you take them out of the Wilson, he will not have that ability to continue his services. So it's an easy answer, and I think we can all work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ready. Good evening, Dr. Avosa, area superintendents, and school board members. First of all, I would like to say thank you to